You know, if you'd have told me before that game had kicked off that the most exciting part of that entire 93 minutes of football was a guy kicking a ball off a cliff, I wouldn't have believed you. But it was. So, yeah. Glorious. No, I won't give in till I'm victorious. Hello everyone, this is CJ Novo 992 and today we are back with another brand new video. Today's video we are here to discuss, break down and give our reactions to East Fife versus Rangers. But as always, just a friendly reminder in case you are new to the channel, if you don't mind hitting that subscribe button, it's right down there. It's free, it doesn't cost you anything. That would be absolutely fan-dabby-dozy. But let's dive into this game of football then, shall we? Because there's weirdly a lot to discuss. But the talking points aren't what I thought they were going to be ahead of the game. Now, in yesterday's prediction video, there was a lot of excitement. I mean, you saw me, I was gleaming from ear to ear about how excited I was about these players being given their chance and unleashed by Steven Gerrard. And we've done a wee prediction starting 11 in the comments, which so many of you guys got involved with, so thank you so much for that. And when it was first announced the Rangers team lineup, I went through every single player, and for the first 7, I was right for once. My hopes got high. Then Joe Rebo and Jordan Jones got announced, and that kind of ruined my prediction 11, but I still got 9 out of the 11 that was selected. So as always, it's close but no cigar for CJ. But if I'm being honest, when I seen the starting 11, I was still more excited than ever, and I genuinely thought as soon as that whistle go, these Rangers players would absolutely explode out the blocks and fight for the jersey. But I've got to be honest with you, when we kicked off this game of football, it was unlike everything we've done so far this season. It was an unusual slow start. We were just a little bit sluggish, especially in the middle of the park. Now, we all know I'm not the biggest fan of plastic pitches. I absolutely despise them, and it always seems to affect how we play. When we try and zip the balls across the ground, it seems to always get stuck and slow right down. That is what happened, if I'm honest with you. And every time we tried to cross it, the crazy wind was just blowing the ball. Like, one point we tried to boot the ball upfield, it blew all the way back to our defence. So I know the conditions certainly played its part, but even simple things like just taking a touch from usually our very consistent players like Glenn Kamara was just slightly off, and Kamara for that first half was actually really poor. Honestly, couldn't have passed an eye test in that first half. He was really off it, but he wasn't the only one. It kind of seeped into other players. I mean, Andy Halliday, who has just been a different figure under Steven Gerrard, that was the old Halliday. He was beaten every single time any East Fife player went near him. I mean, the perfect way to summarise Andy Halliday's first half performance is he's probably saved BB's Rangers career. But let's dive into the game of football then, shall we, and actually talk about the game recap, because we did take the lead in the 26th minute through a bit of brilliance from Jermaine Defoe. Honestly, my man of the match was Jermaine Defoe's first touch. It was frightening all damn day. There were some questions about him being up in style in the trickiest conditions on a plastic park with 2 centre-halves that apparently like to be physical. Well, I think Jermaine Defoe won the duel between the 2 centre-backs because he was absolutely outstanding all damn day. The quick turns, that again just bringing the ball to his feet and bringing others into the game. For me, he was one of the most consistent players for Rangers all day, and he got his first goal again just simply because of that wonderful first touch. And it makes me so happy to say the person who passed the ball into him and driven the ball across the ground straight to the striker was Hilander, who picked the ball up, run 5-10 yards into their half and just smashed the ball right to Jermaine Defoe, who'd done the rest with, again, perfect touch and a tidy, clinical finish. That was great to see Jermaine Defoe scoring, and also Philippe Hilander getting the assist. Well in, big man. And when the ball hit the back of the net, you just took a massive sigh of relief and you went, yes, finally, we get the breakthrough. That should just settle the nerves and get some of these players who isn't playing that great just to calm down a little bit, get back to doing what they do and make this a cricket score, because that's what we've done all season long. Well, unfortunately, that never quite happened. We actually made it all the way to the half-time, still plodding it along and making it pretty difficult on ourselves. But just like what I said about Jermaine Defoe, there was another player by the name of Jordan Jones who I thought was excellent in the first half. And if I've got to be honest with you, I can't think of one single time in his Rangers career so far that he's ever turned back and just passed it back the way. I honestly can't think of one time he has done that. He's so positive, and it's just fantastic to see. Every time he gets the ball, he is sprinting towards the box. He could have maybe had a penalty in the first half as well. For me, it's still just a little bit too soft. I just don't think you're ever going to get that. But at least he's getting into the box and trying to make things happen. He also almost got an assist in the first half as well with a low-driven cross right to Jermaine Defoe, whose first touch touch is absolutely excellent. Kills the ball dead inside the box, ends up hitting the outside of the post as well. So once again, Jermaine Defoe and Jordan Jones linking up to perfection. But it's got to be said, the other major opportunity to fall in that first half fell to East Fife. It was crossed right to the back post, and Andy Halliday, who honestly, every time I say his name in this video, I'm just getting more and more annoyed because it was so unlike him. I mean, he was falling all over the place, he was slamming on the ground, he was screaming at the referee for fouls every 2 seconds. That's no him anymore. That performance isn't what he does. That's the old way. I don't know why he reverted back to that for this game when he's carrying the Rangers captain's armband, but anyway, it gets close to the back post, he jumps up, it gets nowhere near it, he falls to the ground, he's slamming, demanding a free kick. It obviously isn't a free kick. The ball ends up falling to an East Fife player at the back post, and Foringham, who you've got to give a lot of credit in this game of football, was out right away, spread his body out well, and made a fantastic save from extremely close range, all from the mistake from Andy Halliday. And then you end up at half time and you're thinking to yourself, what was that first half? What are we doing? This could possibly be 1-1 right now. But these type of games are always going to happen throughout the season. They're never fun to watch or pretty to watch, but what it does give us as fans as the opportunity to see what these players are actually made of. And when things aren't going right, who's going to step up above the rest and be the leader? And one man for me took the game by the scruff of the neck more than anyone, and that was Joe Aribo. In that second half, he was everything that we needed him to be, whether it was coming back and sticking a foot in or taking the ball 10-15 yards up front, beating a man, winning a free kick, tracking a man. He was everywhere in that second half. And again, I know it's not the toughest opposition, it's not the hardest game we'll play all year, but we weren't playing well, but he took it on his shoulders to be the man for Rangers, and that is more impressive than anything else that happened in the entire game. Hashtag Lee Bowyer must be greeting. And he inspired us in that second half, and it did become a more controlled performance from Rangers in the second half. I'm pretty sure Steven Gerrard and the staff will have had a couple of things to say at half time as well, but Aribo played his part in the second half. We end up taking the lead in the 56th minute. Now, the big man I thought scored originally, Helander, with a sort of scooping header, and I was so delighted. I called that in yesterday's video, but I'm pretty sure it's been given as an OG on the East Fife player, which again just sums up my luck to absolute perfection. I think you can tell it's an OG as well by Helander's sort of embarrassed celebration, but I don't know if there's any way Helander can claim that. I would, because that would give the big man a goal, an assist, and a clean sheet on his debut. That it's pretty decent for the big man. And that transitions me perfectly to the two centre halves, because I didn't want to make this video seem like all doom and gloom and I'm disappointed or anything like that. I'm absolutely delighted we are through, and I'm actually very impressed with Edmondson once again and Helander's partnership. For the first time that they've ever been starting together, I thought they worked well. They complemented each other pretty well. After kind of a first 5-10 minute spell where they were finding their feet with each other, their communication became great. One of them dropped, one of them pushed forward. Edmondson seems to be the one that likes to drift forward with the ball more often, but they started to show they've got a sort of sprinklings and a little bit of growth as a partnership already in just one performance. And again, it's got to be said, Edmondson for me has never put one single foot wrong in every single minute he has played for Rangers. He is a very, very promising young centre half. But before we talk about Joe Aribo, once again, there is a couple of saves that Foringham made. Now, they're not worldies or anything like that. They were sort of mostly hit at him, but again, it's worth noting in that he stayed alert and was there when needed and called upon as well. So once again, Foringham certainly earned his clean sheet. But we're going to talk about the man of the moment in the second half, because he got the goal his overall performance deserved. In the 83rd or 84th minute, Joe Aribo was there, reacted quick enough to poke the ball into the back of the net after a little sort of rebound, sort of scruffle at a corner kick. And with that being said, we've reached the end of the game breakdown. Now, it finished 3-0 to Rangers, with Rangers winning in both halves. Turn our attention to the individual player focuses very, very briefly, because you already know Fods, Defoe, Jordan Jones and Joe Aribo for me were absolutely outstanding, with the two centre-halves playing well. I've already spoken about that. But I do, again, I'm not want to be overly negative, but I just want to speak very, very briefly on a couple of players who I thought didn't take the opportunity that they were given by the gaffer and just never seized it to the fullest of their ability. And that for me was Matt Polster, Greg Stewart and Andy Halliday. Very, very disappointed in them three. I thought they'd play a lot better than they did. Greg Dockery almost joined that list, but done a couple of things throughout the game and got better as the game sort of went on before he was took off. But even he, who I absolutely rate so highly, I was disappointed in. So I just wanted to ask your opinion on all that. How did you feel about this game and with these players that were given a chance to play for Rangers? Who stood out to you? Who disappointed you? The comment section is open, so get your thoughts and opinions out there. So over to Twitter then, there's been 1,497 votes. Thank you so much for getting involved. 2% votes for other, 5% votes for Forningham, 17% votes for Jermaine Defoe, but the far and away winner with 76% of the man of the match. That's the highest man of the match voting we've had on the channel since Ryan Kent versus Celtic. Honestly, that sums up how well he played. It's none other than Joe Aribo. Andrew Wilson writes in, Fods or Edmondson for me, both had pretty good games where they didn't put a foot wrong. Good to see Hollander, he had a good game as well. Halliday, yep, he just put a lot of emojis in. I think you know what he says. Aribo was good, Defoe good, the rest of the team were good, but could have been a lot better. Stevie Brown says Aribo stood out, showing class throughout. Not the best game, but take the win and move on. Exactly. Stevie Deaconey writes in, Aribo for me, very flat. How Halliday gets picked is beyond me. Wolfman's got Nards writes in, Aribo was the worst for me. Lost the ball more times than I could count. Don't think he can count. Corey Ferguson writes Aribo. Mitch writes in, CJ, I'm getting sick of this. Why was Halliday not an option? Who wrote that? Was it BB? And the last 2 or 3 we'll read out in tonight's video. The first one comes in from Spencer McLean and he writes in, Aribo without a doubt, but special mention to Forningham for proving that Rangers have 2 #1 goalkeepers and that he only needs to wait till McGregor retires to be the first choice. Alfredo writes in, Fods played well. It's great to see Forningham getting some mentions here. Snake Harper writes in, has to be Aribo, was a class above everyone on the pitch. Trying to take into account the pitch and conditions, but too many of them had really poor games today. CJ. And the last one we'll read out in tonight's video, we'll scroll all the way down to the bottom and we'll stop it right here. And it comes from Chrissy RFC and he writes in, Aribo smashed it, was everywhere on that park and he got his well-deserved goal. Well, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. You've heard from the people. You've heard from myself. If you haven't done so already, you know what to do by now. Shout out to the absolute legends on the Patreon's account. I genuinely can't thank you guys enough. I know I say it in every single video, but I honestly mean it every single time I say it. Thank you so much for all your support. If you would like to support the channel, as always, links for that is down there in the description below. And I've been CJ Nova 92. Thank you so much for watching and bye.